Hello, Professor, and greetings again from Vancouver, Canada. It is about 2:15 in the afternoon, and it is raining. It is raining hard. Welcome to the Pacific Northwest in the summertime. But anyway, I just wanted to take some time to do my video this afternoon and let you know about the class. I first and foremost want to thank you very much for being so supportive and generous with your understanding of my situation. I am a serial entrepreneur. I have been since I was 10 years old. I've had jobs since I was 5. And I've got a holding company with a gentleman in Chicago, and we own 6 businesses under that holding company. And he's married with children and a wife, and I have a girlfriend but no kids and no wife, and I am the one that travels all over the world to make all this stuff happen. So thank you again very much for understanding. So anyway, wanted to kind of go through some of the projects I did. You were gracious enough, Professor, to allow me to kind of use a phony company to do my final project. So I just I said, why complicate it? Let's just use the Mold to Soul. So I created the moldtosoul.com /website folder in the cPanel account, so you can see in my folder here all the different file types that are in there, and you can see the code editor here, and you can kind of see this. This was a cool experience for me. I work a lot with GoDaddy, and all my SSL certificates are with GoDaddy. All my websites and hosting and email are all with GoDaddy. So Bluehost was a kind of a cool experience. Never dealt with them before. I think it's kind of good to get out there and diversify a little bit. So it was cool to understand this and how you use the file manager and so on and so forth, and kind of create new files. This obviously works similar as GoDaddy, and then really getting into the code editor to see code. I really am very much interested in the code when it comes to software and stuff, Professor. One of the companies that I own is a software company, and the millions and millions of lines of code in our software is pretty incredible. The gentleman that writes all of our code is out of Chicago, and I sell enterprise software for this particular company, and there's a lot of different reportings and projects we have to do, email marketing reports, and the code that goes into this is really cool. So just seeing the code here and getting to dive into it and play with it a little bit. I've coded sites before, div, using div actually, but it's one of those things where I'm more of a sales guy versus a software developer. But I do find it intriguing, and for young people that are going into the professional world, I find it extremely helpful for them to know at least the foundational aspects of the infrastructure of software development. I mean, it's how our world functions, and knowing some of these tags and knowing how things work, and just kind of the basic understanding of computers and wireless networks is so vitally important. And I think it makes every young person out of college come out looking much more intelligent to potential employers when you kind of know technology. So this was a very cool experience for me. So going back to the website here, I created all the folders. I got the website up and running. I used a banner here. Using Adobe was also kind of a first thing for me. I was always a Paint guy. I had PCs growing up, and I've just purchased a Mac only a few years ago. So this was a cool experience too. I got to admit, I didn't spend a ton of time on this image, but I really enjoyed Photoshop. All the cool things you can do. I'm going to use it again. I'm going to entrench myself into that and see if I can do that, because that's really fun. I enjoyed that. So I did this image in Adobe, and then you can see here I've got the home, about us, and contact us page. On the left-hand side here, I used iframe technology to pull in this YouTube video, and I like iframe technology. One of the cool things with iframe technology, Professor, I use in my business is for banner advertising for forms on other sites. So we use iframe forms for banner advertising. One of my websites, Professor, is a website called lendington.com. And lendington.com is a home loan and business loan lead aggregation website for people looking for money. And a lot of the forms that you would see here are all iframe forms, which makes it kind of nice because we can go into the form code ourselves and we can change this form code on the fly, any of these format options, so on and so forth, without having to call the software developer, and have them change everything. So iframe is great, and I use that iframe here on the website to pull in this YouTube video. Right hand side, I just did a little bit of information on Mold to Soul. I was going to make these links, Professor, off to some really cool YouTube videos as well for these categories, but when you link this, it turns white like it does up here, and then you can't see it. So I struggle with that a bit. And then down here at the bottom, I've got some friends that own the Endless Sun Surf Camp. Great community. This young couple, they just got married. all they do is teach surfing. That's 100% of their living. It's really an incredible surf camp. And I got a little image here on the right hand side as well. So for the About Us page, if I click on About Us, you can see the About Us page. This is me. This is this is a few years ago. This is one of my new surfboards and me in my wetsuit, and I kind of talk a little bit about mold the soul and keeping the peace, and how water and ocean has the ability to mold your soul, and how kind of how it has the ability to kind of push the refresh button on life for you. So this is the About Us page here, and then you can go to the Contact Us page as well, and you can see the Contact Us page on the left hand side. You've got all the information. This is my corporate office where my business is down here, my corporate phone number, and then you've got all the information about contacting us. And then in Dreamweaver Professor, which I thought was also a really cool experience. I had never really used Dreamweaver before. I always did all my editing of code just right within the cPanel. But the cool part about Dreamweaver is it pulls up a lot of things automatically for you, which I thought was cool. So I messed around a little bit with the form builder in Dreamweaver. Didn't get very far, unfortunately. This doesn't submit anywhere. I didn't write the script for it to submit. But essentially, someone would be able to come in here and put first name, last name, telephone, some information, and then be able to submit, and that would go to into my CRM platform, or maybe potentially just to my email inbox. We use HTTP post technology with my CRM software to post into systems. So if I were just to give you a kind of a cool example, if I go to data sources here in my software, I can click on this data source here. I can edit this data source, and this gives me an instructions button right here where I can spit out an HTTP post URL, and then I can map those fields together, and I can API that form right into my software platform, and I can create autoresponders on it. I can assign it to salespeople. I can send lead notifications. It's a pretty cool system. So anyway, that's a small form I tried to mess around with on Dreamweaver that I thought was pretty cool. So I go back to the home page here. I made these adjustments on every page. Here's my social media links. So if we go off to my Facebook page, for Mold the Soul, you can see for branding purposes, I use the same image for the background. And then I found this really cool little image here as well that's kind of water, and it's an M. And I also use this for my favicon. So I know it's very tough to see up here, but that's my favicon. And if you go up to the Facebook page here, Mold the Soul, water, the M, totally cool, I thought. You can see a few of my posts. You can see this really big wave surfer here. I mean, talk about a soul molding experience, Professor. This is probably one of the biggest waves, top 10 biggest waves ridden in the world. And you can obviously watch this later. But a soul molding experience, nevertheless, for this particular gentleman who rides this wave that is just incredibly, incredibly huge. And the new technology these days is that they tow you in with a wave racer, like you just saw there. That was a jet ski. You don't have enough power to get into a wave this big yourself. So on the Mold the Soul Facebook page, I wanted to put a post up that really said, hey, listen, if you go through an experience like this, I mean, look at the size of this wave. Your soul and your body have definitely gone through some sort of transformation. So this is just an incredible video, and I posted a few other videos on the Facebook page for Mold the Soul, along with the Twitter page for Mold the Soul. So kind of a cool, when you turn the sound on and you hear this, Professor, this is pretty amazing. And then did another Facebook post of Clark Little, the wave photographer that really does some amazing work, and you can see a few other of my posts when I change my profile as well. You can click on the About here, and you can kind of see my contact information when you go down here to see more. And you can see I'll put a link up here as well, Professor, for Twitter. Off to the Twitter page, and then you can kind of just see my my Facebook page here. So this is a page. This is obviously not a personal page. This is a business page. So if we go back now to moldthesoul.com, you can also see my Twitter page. So I created a Twitter page for Mold the Soul. Again, for branding, I use the same banner and the same logo. You can see the About here on the left. I followed, Professor, some surfers that are very well known in the industry, some surf brands that are well known in the industry, and then I did some of these same posts right on the Twitter feed. So I use TweetDeck, Professor, to manage my all my Twitter accounts. I have about 11 different Twitter accounts that I use for business, and my good friends use Hootsuite or TweetDeck, and that's a pretty cool program. So you can kind of see my Facebook page here. I wrote a much longer description with links somewhere, but I'm not sure how you find that. So that's here somewhere. But I know I did that. So this is my Twitter page. So uh, the blog that you had us create, I thought was also a very cool experience. I'm a big themeforest.net guy, professor. I get all my templates. I think I emailed you one that I use for my clients. But this was cool because I've never really started one from the ground up before. I did this one from the ground up a while ago, but it wasn't so much like you asked, something that you asked us to do. This was more for my personal, business life, and I got some good stuff in here. So this is the only one I've ever really created before, and the Mold to Soul blog was kind of second. So I'm missing a few blogs that I need to give you, but I always like starting blogs from the ground up. It's a fun thing. It's exciting, seeing it come together. It's exciting seeing the pages get built out. Here I am here at a wedding in Washington D.C. And it's a very cool experience. So I like creating websites. I like creating blogs. I've created multiple websites. Here's a company I did a kind of a theme-based website for. You can go to 4Brokers, and you can sign up to be one of their brokers, and it's kind of interactive, and you can kind of see how the page goes. This is another one of my websites. We already talked about this, Lendington. This is a great kind of a great site that I've designed out. But anyway, just a tremendous experience, Professor. Again, I can't appreciate your help. Enough. Thank you so much for kind of hanging on and believing in me. So this is kind of my project. Signing off, Trey Markle from Vancouver. Take care.